Hello, it's James Shipley from Active Training World here, doing the online race brief for the St Albans Half Marathon. So if this is one of your first events of the year and you've done running events before, then you'll know what normally happens is the commentator or the race director would normally give you a load of the rules and regulations and just talk a little bit about the race beforehand, before the race. But what that would obviously encourage everybody to do is to gather around and listen to it. And that's obviously what the opposite of what we're trying to achieve by putting races on is not having everyone gathered together but be kept socially distanced. So what we've done is we've pre-recorded the race information for you so you can have a listen to it at your own leisure. So if you do watch it all the way through, and if you haven't got any comments or questions, just pop it in the comments below or drop us an email at events@activetrainingworld.co.uk and we'll do our very best to answer them. Okay, so June 13th is the big date. We've got a walking half marathon starting at 8:30. We've got a 5K going off at 8:50. Got the wheelchair half marathon starting at 9:50, and then the half marathon will start at 10 a.m. And there is no fun run this year. Unfortunately, we made a decision that due to social distancing, we really didn't think it was possible to have 3,000 kids running around the park for the fun run. So unfortunately, we haven't been able to do that. But we have engaged with the schools. So if you do speak to your school, then there is a Marathon Kids charity that have been engaging with all of the schools to get the kids participating in a fun run within their schools. So if you do still want to be involved with the fun run, then ask your kids to have a chat with their school. Hopefully they've heard about it. And if not, the school can get in touch with us at Active Training World and we'll send them all the information so they can still be involved in the lead up to the event, which would be fantastic. Okay, so parking, we have various associations with some car parks. All of that is detailed in your race info, which you should have received by email. So if you have a look at there, it will tell you where you can park up and how to get over to Race HQ. Your reg packs should have been posted to you if you've entered already to this point. So if you enter after June the 8th, you'll be able to collect your reg pack from HQ. If you've entered before that, then you should have received your reg pack. If not today, in the next day or two. If you've changed address or if the pack doesn't turn up, what we want you to do is just turn up to HQ, and the registration team there will be able to issue you a new number. You don't need to let us know in advance. They'll have all the details for everybody that's entered, and they'll just assign you a new race number. So if you don't have your number, or if you've moved house, all that sort of thing, or the postman's lost it or whatever, then just turn up on the morning and the registration team will sort you out with a new number. The important bit after that is to look at the letter that's on your race number. So we'll have these holding pens scattered all around the park, and each of those holding pens has a letter on them, and you have to go to whatever letter corresponds on your race number. So if you've got A, you go to holding pen A, and then from there, our starter marshals will bring you up to the start line, and you'll be started in a socially distanced time trial format. So it won't be that big mass start with everybody all lined up in the park and all going off at once. It'll be individual time trial starts, like a flowing start over the start line. For the half marathon, we think it will probably take about 35 to 40 minutes. So if you have estimated that it might take you around about 3 hours to do the half marathon, then you might not start your race until after 10:30. For all the other races, we don't think you'll notice that much of a difference in the start time, because the flowing start, it probably would add on an extra 2 or 3 minutes to the start times. Okay, so once you're underway, if you're doing the 5K, you are allowed to wear headphones because you're completely within the park. If you're taking part in any of the half marathon races, whether that's the walking, the wheelchair, or the half marathon, you won't be able to wear headphones unless they're these bone conductor headphones. Now, I've never tried these, but apparently they sit on your cheekbones and they magically play music through your bones somehow. But you are allowed to use those. But basically the rule is you're not allowed to have anything that inserts into your ear as an audio device. Even if it's just one ear, that you would still get yourself disqualified. And there will be a UK athletics referee present that we're looking out for anyone disobeying that rule. It's for traffic, although this is a closed roads race. If we're running through a residential area and someone leaves their house, we can't guarantee that there'll be no cars on the course at any point. So for that reason, the decision's made that there is no headphones allowed. There's another key information bit on the COVID stuff that I need to go through. If possible, and you have access to a lateral flow test, it would be very helpful if you could take one in the week leading up to the race. All of our staff will be doing the same, but that's one of the requirements from the council, is that we ask you, if it's possible and you have access to them, if you could take a lateral flow test in the week leading up to the race. Spectators, we get asked this a lot. Up until recently, it's been no spectators at events anywhere. That rule is being relaxed a little bit. But what we would say is there's going to be a couple of thousand people in the event village. So we don't really want spectators there. So what we're asking people is, if you are going to bring spectators, that they scatter out on the course somewhere. So the park is huge. If they could go out somewhere on the park. But the real crunch point is that start and finish line. So if you could ask spectators they don't go to the start and finish area, that would be very, very much appreciated. Water stations. So if you're, sorry, I keep looking down. I've got a little list. I just want to make sure I don't forget anything here. If you're doing the 5K this year, there won't be a water station. So if you do think that you need water on that 5K course, then you will need to carry your own water, but there will be water for you at the finish line. For the half marathon races, there'll be 4 water stations and plus water at the finish, and that's all detailed in the race information. One of the things we're really, really going to be hot on this year is we want you to use the bins provided. And I know for a lot of you that might sound like we're teaching you to suck eggs there, but we want you to throw your bottles into the bins. It's a huge job to clear up litter after a race, and we obviously want to avoid marshals having to touch anything as much as possible. So there'll be lots and lots of bins after the water station. If you could throw them into those bins, it would be very much appreciated. And if you do take longer to drink your drink and you're still holding your bottle, what we'd ask you to do is just carry it until the next water station and then throw it in the bin there. And the same thing goes with energy gels. In fact, even more so for energy gels, because they're horrible to pick up. Trust me on that one. Literally all the gels gooing out of it and everything. It's not a pleasant job for anybody. So if you can make sure you either carry those with you until the finish or throw those into a bin as well. And there will be loads of bins at the water stations. So please use those. Walking half marathon, if you could keep left out on the course as the half marathon runners approach you. So obviously you're starting, I think, what is it, an hour and a half before the half marathon runners get underway. So after sort of 10 o'clock or 10:15, if you could just start making sure that you keep left on the course, and that allow plenty of room for people to overtake and maintain social distancing during the race, that'd be great. Finish line stuff. So this is where things are also a little bit different. We're not going to be able to present you with your medals and things. You do get a medal, but we're not going to be able to present your medals to you like we normally would. So normally you'd have someone literally putting the medal over your head. The finish line has to be self-service. So there'll be a team of marshals making sure the tables are stocked with all the water, the ice cream and the medals. But make sure that it's a self-service thing. So as you go through, you'll have to take your own, unfortunately. And in case you hadn't seen this one, we've decided this year we haven't done T-shirts. So instead what we've done is we've donated trees on your behalf. So for what we'll do is we'll announce straight after the race just how many trees that we've planted instead of doing race T-shirts this year. All the trees are being planted in the UK, and it's going to be great that instead of giving out T-shirts this year, that we can be able to do something so good for the environment. And we'll let everybody know on our social media just how many trees that you've managed to get planted from participating in this race. The other stuff is the event village at the finish probably won't look similar to how it has done in previous years. Normally there's loads of stalls and stands and all that sort of stuff, but we don't want people congregating around the finish. What we would ask you to do is, if you were going to spend some money in the event village, if you go up to the high street and spend it in the cafes, the shops, the restaurants up there. They've obviously had a really terrible time through all these COVID restrictions. And they would very, very much welcome you to go up there after the race and go and enjoy a coffee, a lunch, spend a bit of money in the high street. So rather than spend it where you would in the event village, that would be very, very much appreciated. Finally, this event has been able to go ahead due to all the COVID restrictions. the risk assessments, and the team have worked so hard with the council to make sure that we're following all the rules, the advice, the guidance and everything. But we do need you guys to do your part as well. So please use the hand sanitizers where available. After registration, the toilets. If you can, do the lateral flow test in the week leading up to the race. All of these things will really, really help to make this event as safe as possible. And if you can, make sure that you're staying 2 meters apart from everybody else. I know there's lots of times you probably haven't seen all of your friends and your running club members and all that sort of stuff. But if you can, do your very, very best to maintain social distancing. It will be very, very much appreciated. So we're really looking forward to it. June 13th. We hope you are as well. Like I said at the beginning, if I've missed anything off, just pop it in the comments below, or drop us an email, and we'll do our very best to answer them. But if we don't hear from you before, we very much look forward to seeing you at the St Albans Half Marathon. Okay, take care.